Right, class, in this video what I want to look at are different types of tenancy, okay, and some examples that go with each type. All right, so the first type of tenancy is tenancy for years, and what this means is the tenant has the right to occupy property for a fixed period of time, okay? So it's stated out in the lease how long they can stay at the property, and it's fixed. It doesn't change. It's agreed upon up when the tenant and the landlord signed the lease. Okay, the example here, Jesse, okay, he has signed a 1-year lease to live in an apartment. Straightforward. Most times, if you ever enter into a rental agreement, it's probably going to be tenancy for years. You're going to say, I agree to live at this property for 12 months or 18 months or 6 months, okay, and then that's it. Okay, the other type of tenancy is periodic tenancy. And this is tenancy that continues for successive, okay, or one after another fixed periods of time. Okay, so the example here, Michelle has signed a lease to live in an apartment. Okay, the lease will renew every month. Michelle can end the lease with notice given to her landlord. So what this means is Michelle is in a periodic tenancy, meaning that she's going to agree to live there for 1 month. Okay, and if she doesn't say otherwise, then it's assumed that she's going to live there for the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month, right? However, Michelle can get out of this lease if she gives her landlord notice, at the beginning of a month saying, this is my last month, I do not plan on living here next month. Okay, so all she has to do is give notice, and then the periodic tenancy is over. Okay. Now the next type of tenancy is tenancy at will. And this is tenancy that continues for an indefinite period of time. It's never really agreed between the landlord and the tenant how long this lease is going to go for, okay? Our example here, Brock, he has no formal agreement with his landlord, okay? He's living there, okay, but it's not formalized. So Brock can end the lease whenever he gives advance notice to his landlord. Unless Brock gives the notice to the landlord, it's assumed that he's going to just continue living there. Okay, now Brock does need to give advance notice. He needs to let the landlord know a little bit ahead of time when he's done with his tenancy at will. He can't just knock on the landlord's door the day that he moves out and say, hey, I'm leaving. Okay, he's got to give a little bit of advance notice in order to legally leave this, this rental. Okay. Now the last one is a little bit different. This is tenancy at sufferance. Okay, this is where the tenant does not leave after their tenancy has expired or ended. Okay, so when that lease is up, say we have tenancy at years and the tenant has agreed to live there for 12 months, 1 year. Okay, the 12 months comes up. They have given no notification to the landlord that they want to renew the lease, so it is assumed that they will be leaving that residence. Okay, but then the day comes when the lease is up and they don't leave. Okay, at that point, they're tenants in sufferance, okay? So the example, Tina has continued to live at her apartment even though the lease has ended. What is it? This is illegal, okay? She cannot be there at this point. She is violating the law, all right? And even though she doesn't have a lease agreement, she's still living there and she will still owe her landlord for the time that she stays in that apartment or in that house illegally as a tenant in sufferance, okay? So those are the different types of leases and some examples that I hope you find helpful in illustrating each of the 4 types.